Track Power FM, Brother Intellect 9. Of course, I got my co-host with me today, no one other than Osa A. Moore. How you doing, Goddess?
Doing my best as always.
That's what's up. I do want to thank you for tuning in and rocking out with us on this, these special segments, this podcast, Track Power FM. I know today's guest is a powerhouse, but I definitely would love for you to introduce the brother.
Yes, we definitely have a heavy hitter today. This hip hop artist has produced over 38 projects, been working independently for the past 20 years, 17 studio albums.
Mm.
This is African Man Born, aka Dr. A&B.
There he is. What's going on, man? What's going on, brother? Peace.
Chilling, man. What's going on with y'all?
Man, we good. We good. We definitely we definitely feeling good about having you on with us. I interviewed you some years ago on my audio podcast, and we chopped it up and had a great time and found out a whole lot about you. But I think for those who didn't get to tune into that, and you've evolved since then. In the pre talk, I found out I was listening in and I heard some things, man, that was just kind of mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? But for those who don't know you, man, can we just start from somewhere back in the beginning to who you are and what is it that you do and what are your inspirations?
Dr. A and B came from a crew called TA back in the 90s. I used to be known as Anonymous Machete Blade. That's what A and B meant before
Wow.
African Man Born Now.
Wow.
My best
Okay.
friend named me that, and we was beatboxing, and he said, "Yo, DJ Machete Blade," and I took that on and said Anonymous Machete Blade. Um, and the reason why was because I wasn't really known, but then I was a battle rapper. I learned how to battle rap,
Mm,
chopping heads.
mm,
Um, and after that, I was uh, I was the one booking studio time, created music from the ground up, pretty much. Started from the
right.
mixtapes because I didn't have a producer, so I started from the mixtape, taking instrumentals, taking the format of what 50 Cent did, and did my own thing. And
Mhm.
that's what created the Anonymous Mixtape series, which is 1 through 9, 2003 to 2015. Um, then I was able to get with some producers, and I started producing my own stuff as well. 2009 to 2025 and beyond. Because I say beyond, because I have other projects coming after this one that's coming out. Um, I've been dropping official album. Um,
Mm,
so I've always took the notion of growing from one point to another because of how I was raised as a young boy, where my mother was from Panama and I was born here in the United States. The only one of my family members born in Boston. Um, I had I felt like I had a personal responsibility to grow in my music. You know what I mean?
mm,
And then when I got in touch with the doctor, Dr. Malachi Z. York, back in early 2000s, it enhanced what I'm able to do now. If it wasn't for Malachi Z. York, I wouldn't be able to do as many
mm,
projects on the subject levels that I would. I'd be talking about everything that everybody else is doing,
right.
which I didn't want to do in the first place. I always wanted to grow. If you're 38 years old, you talk like a 38-year-old man. If you're 48 years old, you talk like a 48-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? 50, so on. And that's what keeps you growing as a hip hop musician, um, as ain't just as a person, period. You want, and Malachi brought that knowledge to the forefront and also gave me the inspiration to want to
Mm,
seek knowledge. And don't believe me, check it out. Doing the whole thing where he said, "Don't believe me, check it out." I was doing that.
right.
So when I was doing that, I was coming into information that I stored, and then when it came to hip hop, I used hip hop as a means to attract those to the knowledge. So over the years, that's what it was for me. It was like, I went from the street battle rapper to the I call myself the hip hop doctor. That's why I say hip hop doctor A and B African man born, because I feel like I heal you with the music. Like Dr. Sabi heals you with herbs. I heal you with lyrics.
When did you start your interest in hip hop?
Oh wow. I was in it since I was a baby, since 1983 with Sucker MCs. That's what got me into hip hop. As a baby, I was
Mm,
4. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? Then I started breaking my mother's furniture, breakdancing when I was 5, 6. After she
Oh man.
after she punished me a bunch of times, and I started rapping. You know what I'm saying around 1993, 94. Um, so I started emceeing in '94. I would say '94. You
Right.
know what I mean? After that, it took me about years to develop where I was able to release music in 2003. My first mixtape was 2003, the Anonymous mixtape. Um, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just trying to put songs together because I said I needed something to release. I was trying to get signed. You know, you're young, trying to get signed to get somebody to pay attention to you. It ended up
Right.
turning into a journey where people was paying attention to me without the labels, and then I started learning outside of the music industry. And even when I was still trying to search, I started to become the music industry.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So when you get a bunch of doors closed in your face, you figure it out, right?
right.
Then
Right.
I started building my own house, building my own doors, building my own label, building my own brand. Over time, it became from work doing CDs to creating the logo to doing my own shows and going to places and selling the CDs out my mother's car because I didn't have a car. So I was using her car. How can I use your car?
Right.
Um, and I would literally drive to like Lansdowne Street, which is like the popular club area, and open my trunk up and pretty much spit bars, get $5 here, $10 here. You know what I'm saying? Um, Sometimes I would go to different places, and I would even travel to New York and go to Brooklyn and some of the hardest places in New York and do a show. And because they thought I was from out there, they they loved what I did because they didn't think that Boston had MTs. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, 2003 is when I first kicked off. You know what I mean? And then I released mixtape after mixtape after mixtape until um, I started getting contact with producers, and then I started working on my own beats and stuff like that. And 2009 came, and that's when I released my first album. And on January 9th, 2009, I released my first album, which was called The Introduction. You know
You
what I mean?
said the introduction.
Yeah, The Introduction, which because I had so many. So from 2005 to 2008, I started recording over original tracks because I was like, all right, I got producers, I got beats, and I had so many beats that my first album was actually supposed to be called True Colors. So
Mm.
what ended up happening, I recorded so much music, I didn't want my first project to be a double CD. You know what I mean? I just
Right.
thought, I just thought that there's too much. You don't put double CD out, and I didn't really think about taking certain songs out. I didn't want to not. I always anything I record, I'm never question what I record. If I if I finish the song, I like the song, it's gonna come out. If I don't like the song, you won't even hear about it.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, so I barely question myself. I never question myself when I feature with an artist. And I never question myself if I complete a song, mix it down, and master it. And I look at it, I already know that it's good enough to put out. That's how I look at my art form. Um, no knock on anybody who does question themselves for certain things you want to fix. Me, I'm very authentic with it. I like the imperfections in perfection. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if there's certain things that were a mistake, keep it there because it makes me human. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's ridiculous. If it's something like totally stupid, I'm not gonna. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put it out.
Yeah.
But if it's like little thing here, you know, I keep that because it's authentic. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And it's something that Erica Badu said as well. Um, she doesn't like the perfected sound. She likes the little mistakes that's made in music because it makes you like an authentic being.
That's what's up, man. You so basically, um, again, I overheard a conversation. Somebody says something like you had like 17, 20 albums, something like
I,
that.
I got 20 mixtapes from 2003 till now.
Hmm.
I'm releasing my fourth one in November, so that would be the 20, and then of mixtapes, and then the albums, which is a difference. The albums is original tracks, all you know what I'm saying, beats, music, all that. 17 will be on December 1st.
Oh, so you say what? Because you know that's a whole lot of material right there. Like, man, woo.
Yeah. So, a lot of people sometimes they come across with like writer's block and stuff. So, how do you like? What is your process to where you're able to produce so much material, especially for this year with the amount of work that you've just released this year alone?
Well, this year was very different for me because of the spirit of my mother passing. I had to release all of that energy. Um, it was different. I make music every year, but this year I recorded like the four mixtapes that I recorded based off of straight up energy, soul, connection, whatever it was that was driving me because of what happened with my mother and my brother. My brother passed in August 16th, 2003. I'm 2023. My mother passed 6 months after. You know what I'm saying? I didn't that year 2024. I already had an album ready to come out, which was God Greatness Over Dominance, which I'm just starting to really finish my videos for now. But I didn't really have the recording desire. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? It was
mm,
kind of like
yeah,
I had to take that time and just kind of process. On top of that, I had to figure out a lot of different things, personally.
right.
But at a certain point, and I think it was around Kwanzaa time, you know what I'm saying? Around Kwanzaa time, which is from the 26th to the 1st, right? Um, that kind of gave me the edge to be like, yo, um, it's time for me to talk about a lot of different things that are on my mind at that point, right? The only song I recorded in 2024 actually was "Set the Record Straight." Um,
Mm,
that was the only song I recorded in that year because I already had the album. Plus, I didn't feel like recording because of what I was going through, right?
right.
So, but once I put the album, I still put the album out. But remember, I kept pushing the album. The album was supposed to come out May 23rd. My mother passed
Okay.
in February, so I didn't have time to really get into album mode and promote and perform. I
Right.
didn't want to perform, which
Right.
even though I still did, I performed 20 dates on a tour. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So what ended up happening, and I'm glad I did that tour because it allowed me to like actually share the stage with people, whether the crowd was small or big, and to go out there and release energy. Once I
right.
got off that tour and the album came out, and then I did Kwanzaa, I sat on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve after we did the cipher, and I said,
Mm,
it's time to and then that's when I built my little personal studio here. You know what I mean? Like I bought my own. You know what I mean? I have my own setup going here,
right.
and I said I'm gonna just go record and release. So that's what came out with This Is Hip Hop, which came out February 1st. May 3rd, I came out with Rhythm and Poetry. August 11th, I came out with The Healer. November 12th is going to be Hip Hop for the Culture, right? And and all of all of this is energy from, if you listen to it, there's always a lyric in there that talks about my mother or a
Mm,
lyric that talks about my brother. In every, especially This Is Hip Hop. This is
right.
hip hop. I redid a song called "Pain" by Tupac. Well,
Mm,
Tupac has the perfect music to talk about pain. You know what I'm saying?
right. Right.
I
Right.
did that song. That was for the Above the Rim soundtrack. That's where I released a lot of that energy because I actually talked about certain situations that people would probably advise me not to. But anybody who knows me, I don't do necessarily what people advise me to do. You know what I'm saying? I do,
uh,
and the reason why is because if I don't do what I do, it wouldn't be Dr. A and B.
right.
Dr. A and B's whole process is do what you know to do, not what people tell you to do. Certain things you have to listen to, and certain things you don't. But when it comes to your expression, I don't believe in blocking people's expression. So I did that whole album, if that whole mixtape, if those were original beats, it would probably be my best album to this day. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
wow.
Because because of everything that I did. I redid the song. Um, um, Nas is coming. I said God is coming. I added Malachi at the end to show you that God is coming because he's coming home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, I redid Didn't You Know? That kind of initialized, that kind of like initiated the whole process of now continue the journey. So even today, I did a video called
Mm-hmm.
The Journey Continues, right?
Mm.
And that process is explaining how I'm leaving a legacy with hip hop. So at this point, now I'm ready to leave a legacy with whoever can take it and take it to the next level. I'm
Right.
doing my part. So um, what writer's block doesn't writer's block, I stopped catching writer's block around 15, 20 years ago. And the reason why is because I give myself time to rest from thought process of music,
Mm-hmm.
which means like your brain is a muscle, and if you don't use it, you lose it, right? But if you use it too
That's
much, you
right.
can hurt it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Music comes from that muscle, that mind. You know what I'm saying? And we say hip hop is not music, but hip hop is very much music in the sense of what you make it. So I add those elements of music to my theory of hip hop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Where it becomes music. You know what I'm saying? And it is because I said it was because hip hop tells dictates what it is, not anybody else. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I don't catch right. What inspires me is just things that go on. I let the music come to me. I let the thoughts come to me. I let the music come to me. I let it hit me based on the soul. I don't let it hit me based on what I need to put out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because what comes to me is what I need to put out. So that's why it's like when it comes to writer's block, you know how people get it? It's because a lot of times they're forcing it. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't really need to force it. It's most
Mm-hmm.
talented people force it.
Yep.
Right?
The living room live.
The
Yep.
living room live. So, tell us a little bit about that. Like what was the motivation or inspiration behind that whole thing to have, all these artists come over and just, do the thing from the living room.
The living room live is a process is me telling people that you don't need a bar to have a hip hop show. You don't need a club to have a hip hop show. Hip hop is right in your house. Hip hop is when you go in your car. Hip hop is when you walk down the street. Hip hop is a lifestyle. And we should be able to have safe spaces for hip hop. We
Mm.
have to change the narrative of what hip hop is. If we don't realize it as people that's watching, um, 47 is in office. I'm not even going to say the man's name. All right, he's in office, and there's spaces that are unsafe for everyone, not just black folks. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
hip hop is a movement that's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like as much as people thought it was a fad back in the 80s, it has been disproven for the past 51, 52, and 54 years. All right. Um, by thankful of Disco Mario, Who Hurt, Bam, Grand Wizard Theodore, Funk Master, all the grandmasters of this culture, and even the people like Daddy, not Daddy, Father Allah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then Malachi, who was a huge inspiration of independence. Right?
Right.
For those who know about Dr. York and Passion, he created that. He created that energy for independence
Right.
in music. So and did it well. So when you talk about the living room live, the master teacher always said you should never go to a place where it's not safe for children. Um, he said that I don't remember if it was a book or update or whatever, but
Yeah.
the living room live is a safe place for all ages. And since I'm the man of the house, I make sure my house is protected. So there ain't nobody getting in that door that I don't approve of. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Right.
Ain't nobody coming in there because one, my wife is there. That's first priority. You can't come in my house and make it unsafe because I'm
Right.
just be a problem. Now I'm one of those guys that's very peaceful, but when it comes to protecting my home, I'm that cherubim at the door. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other brothers that respect me, they're going to be the cherubims. Like, they're going to make so nothing that go on. So, therefore, us men make it safe. It's an
Right.
example of making sure that we have that peace, love, unity, and having fun. So, when you do it in the house, there's comfort. I didn't even have my shoes on in that show, right? I was
Yeah,
walking around. I had bare feet. You look at the show. And I had
yeah,
legs too. I was in there like, yo, I don't care if I'm ashy. I'm gonna rock this show. And then I'm a DJ. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And that was
yeah,
my
yeah.
first DJ show. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? That's the first show I DJ. So the whole concept of Living Room Live is having a safe space for hip hop
mm.
to present itself and for the artist.
Right,
You ain't got to worry about somebody getting shot at my house because you can't even come in there with a gun.
right.
You see what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about, you know what I'm saying, disrespecting women because guess what? The brothers in here are going to regulate if you do. And you can't come in there anyway because you wasn't invited. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Those that we invite. So it's like, it's transitioning back to family, back to
Mm.
community, back to the home. Fix your house. Then, what, right? So that's the whole
That's
concept.
something I really did realize. Like the whole vibe is like a family vibe, man. So you know, much respect to you for that. And actually, I think it's powerful that you actually, um, would actually open up, your wings and allow, yourself to be around other artists and other artists around you, and y'all, do this journey on this thing together, man. Sakim had hit me up when he, of course, before he transitioned, he had hit me up and was like, man, um, I gotta let you hear this artist. This guy is. I know I introduced a lot of people to you, but this particular artist is super dope. He not corny like you always say. These artists be corny. They when they because positive people when they want positive artists always seem to have just whack material. You know what I mean? And so one of the things that I myself was kind of priding myself into is just, having that thing, you know what I'm saying, where we just flowing and we not, forgetting what we actually doing, you know what I'm saying? And when he played your material for me, it's a song called Nine Reasons. And that Nine Reasons song, um, it gave me that feeling that Kanye gave me when he put out Jesus Walks. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And I was like, "Yo, this my motherfucker right here, man." You know what I'm saying? Pardon me also, but I was like, "Yo, this my dude, man." You know what I'm saying? Like, "Yo, yeah, introduce me to this dude, man." You know what I'm saying? He said, "I told you, man. I told you." Like I knew you was gonna like him, man. And I said, "Yeah." Not only did you, have the material and the style and the image. You know what I'm saying? You went further and you came at a time where video was important,
Yeah.
and so you was able to capture. I always was like, man, that video you put together for Nine Reasons was very well thought of and put together.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us dealing with the mechanics that we were dealing with could have done such a thing. You know what I'm saying? So hats off to you for that, and it goes to show that it's important to allow the new artists to come on in and do what they do, you know what I'm saying, and not shun or say we should not be involved in hip hop and all of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us are not, in the world like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're very mature and we're very wise about what we do, and we're not running around being wild. We actually still represent our culture. You know what I'm saying? And that being Wu Sabat. You know what I mean? And we don't we're not smoking and drinking and running around disrespecting women or ourselves. We're very responsible
Mhm.
artists.
Mhm.
So hats off to you and Osa A Moore. You know what I'm saying, for doing what y'all doing.
So I know that you do, you bring a lot of different artists to every show that you're on. And then I just want to know what are the things that inspire you to invite different artists to perform in your show? Like what do you see in them? They be like, "Hey, come and perform on my show."
Well, hip hop culture is parallel to Wu Nawab, and I say this or Wu Sabat. And the reason why I say this is because Wu Nawab, the main principle is unity. All right, one of the main principles. We get the knowledge, we get the wisdom, we get the right, sound, right reasoning and understanding. But it's that unity. You have all the knowledge, you can know the language, You can be the best teacher, but if you don't have that love and to take your ego out of things, you're not doing anything. Our ancestors and overseers look at things as intention. So my intentions, I always, and I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't want to deal with some people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't want to talk to certain people. But for the most part, I want people to win on the same level. So which means if I become a millionaire doing this music, I want my family to become millionaires on the same level. So the whole principle is let's create something that we all can benefit from. And if I can pay you, I'm gonna do my best to pay you because that's what an artist. You should be treated like stars. Every artist, even when it's you, we live in the same house. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to. I should be able to pay, treat you, have a green room, all of that. These are little dumb things that nobody pays attention to, but they're important because it makes the artist want to belong. It makes the artist want to do the things that they do. It makes the artist take their craft serious and not only take their craft serious, but do the same things that I hope to do, but I want you to do it better, right? So, how do I get the artist? What inspires me to get the artist? The fact that they are good at what they do, the fact that they go through the same struggles, the fact that they are talented. I want to see them grow. It doesn't help me to be the best artist in the show. It doesn't. Even if it's mine, it
Right.
doesn't help me to be the only one getting the crowd. It helps that we all get a crowd. It
Right.
helps that we all get recognition. It helps that we all get paid. It's rough that we all enjoy that room and network with each other and have ideas, shared ideas. You know what I'm saying? It was hip hop wasn't easy to create. Matter of fact, our tribe, Wu Nawap, was not easy to push. Propagating was not easy,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Building from books and selling books and selling incense and doing the things that we did as Nuwapians, Ansars, HDM. So the same thing with hip hop. It has to start from a conduit. I try to be that conduit to bring that peace, love, unity, and having fun. The
Right.
main thing that we're missing is that having fun and the unity. The reason why? Because peace, these things don't exist. The peace and all these other things don't exist if you don't have the unity or the having fun. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, I don't know why you do it. So,
Exactly.
so a lot of these artists are so talented, but they're mad. They're
Hmm.
upset. They have mental health issues. And my job is to help become that. This is where the doctor comes in.
Right.
My job is, and this is all Malachi. This ain't me. This comes from what the concepts of what Malachi, because he's a father to us. I'm just a adopted son of his information. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Where I just like, yo, let's do this together, man. Like even like when I first came across into when I came across you, you said, um, let's do this. I want you to be on this song with Bam and boom, boom, boom. And I said, yo, let's do it. I didn't have
Yeah.
no questions. I didn't sit there and be like, yeah, but I didn't do all that shit. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
because it my whole concept is if you have a talent and you are good at it and you take it serious, you deserve to see it sit here right where with the rest of us that want to grow this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my inspiration in getting those artists, I want to see them win as much as I want to see myself win. You should want for your brothers and your sisters what you want for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't
Yeah.
want it for those people, why the hell are you doing it in the first place? Because we are never alone. It says
Hmm.
it in the affirmations. So I'm living by an affirmation that was created by our ancestors and overseers. You know what I'm saying? So, but see, a lot of people that I bring in don't really know that, but they feel it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying
Right.
they
Right.
feel it. Like Dro is very appreciative of what we do, and he does a lot more shows than I do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like he appreciates what we do because we're showing him straight love, and that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? There's a song called "Unify My Love" that I did back in 2016. Unify our love, same principle. I was doing it's culture. So bring us home. Let's all eat together. Let's all come from the same table. Let's all build from the same uh, uh, um, culture, which is hip hop. Hip hop is a part of black culture. I don't, it's not different. It's part of black culture. You know,
You saying a lot, man. That unify our love is a real powerful song too, man. I just wanted to tap in and just mention that. You know what I'm saying?
But blame Genius for that one. That was a beat. The beat spoke.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
what's the purpose of hip hop?
The purpose
right.
of hip hop is the four principles: peace, love, unity, and having fun, which comes from the peace, love, unity, and having fun, with the fifth element being knowledge. The It comes from the four elements of hip hop: peace, love, unity, DJing, graffiti, breaking, MCing with knowledge. Um, Also comes from the four elements of the universe, or earth, which is earth, wind, water, fire, and then the knowledge, right? Which starts with the black woman, then the black man. So the black woman would be the fifth element, and the black man would actually be the sixth element. You know what I'm saying? And how you would apply that, how you apply it, depending on your intentions. The sixth element can either be the God, or it can be the devil, which is why they attribute 666, but 666 as of the 18th. But that's just a lot of science that people ain't gonna try to catch, right? So I tied that in because I'm letting people know that this was supposed to be what it is based on the numbers of small numerology, right? But the purpose of hip hop is that peace, love, unity, and having fun. Where you can go back into how the Nuwapian Nation or the Sabian Nation, we're supposed to be unified. We're supposed to be unified, and we're supposed to have divine love, which also
Mm.
ties into your last question. Divine love, all the artists. I love all these artists. You know
Now
what I'm
you brought you mentioned the Sabaean Nation.
saying? Yep.
Um, there's a conversation about that was circulating around about this hip hop thing, man. Sabaeans are I guess removing themselves from hip hop. What are your thoughts on that?
If they're removing themselves from hip hop, there was never hip hop in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are born into this, like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not removing myself from something I was born into. And I remove myself from the industry. All right. That's what they so what people got to understand is there's an industry and then there's a culture. If they can capitalize off of, and I'm saying the industry, if the industry can capitalize off of Wu Sabat as a genre, they would do it. And then people would say, stay away from Wu Sabat. You know what I'm saying? Which they kind of did that when they kidnapped Dr. York, right? So, and that's what they do. They kidnap our culture and then they give it back to us a certain way.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So just
Right.
like with rap music, they call rap music hip hop. Rap music is an element of hip hop. It's MCing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And for those that don't know what MCing is, they need to talk to hip hop, which is me, you, all three of us on this line, right? So to remove yourself from hip hop is to remove yourself from a part of your culture that you love. Why are you afraid? Because somebody said something that sparked something in you. It doesn't matter. It's your job to correct it, right? If you're looking at it from a standpoint of what the master taught us about the science of music. But
Right.
he also said he worked with Stetsasonic, the first hip hop band, right? So if he worked with Stetsasonic after he said hip hop isn't music, that means that he's here for those that love it to correct it. We have to correct it. Right?
Right.
He gave us Christianity a certain way to correct it. He didn't tell you to get rid of it. He said to correct it. You know what I'm saying? He said he'd rather not his children listen to that hip hop. He didn't say, he said it for a reason, because that hip hop is detrimental. So it's up to us to correct it, give you something that you need to hear. Our children need to hear that elders can play in their radio. At my release party, the happiest part of that release party, though there was a lot of things that made me happy about the release party back in 2022, but it was the elders was buying my CDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people, like people like 70 years old. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Buying my CDs, and that was a testament to the growth, which goes back from what I told you earlier: Anonymous Machete Blade, the African Man Born, to Dr. A and B. That means I'm on the right path because those elders gave their approval. And when you do anything in a ceremony, we all know this, you ask the elders for permission,
Right.
right? So in that regard, right, when it comes to like people saying that they um shying away from hip hop, you are turning yourself into a religious being out of dogmatic view. You have your own dogmatic views based on something that you think you know. You don't know. You got to ask questions
Right.
because now you're shunning away all the people that use hip hop for the right reasons. You don't know. You don't look for them. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't look for the guys and the sisters, there's dope. Matter of fact, there's so many dope sisters. And the reason why I say sisters because hip hop is male dominated, right? So I say the sisters. There's so many sisters that need to hear other sisters because
Yeah.
they're giving a different perspective that men and women need to learn from,
Right.
right? And you're taking that away because from yourself because you're afraid to be on the wrong side. I'm never afraid to be on the wrong side. When has hip hop ever been afraid to be on the wrong side? If you was hip hop, you would embrace that information and change what you know hip hop is to what you know it should be. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
if you're an MC and you do that, you're not really an MC. You know what I'm saying? You're not hip hop because I'm hip hop just as much as I'm Sabian. Because neither Sabian is religious or neither is hip hop. They can come together with the right mindset, the
Right.
right intentions. You can still recognize it. Matter of fact, you can use it to teach it. I've done it plenty of times on many CDs, and it's gonna be no different with this new album or new mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that people like should immediately have an emotional connection to what people think they should be doing with hip hop. You should be looking for the right hip hop because you like it, you love it. If you love it, you look for the right one. Stop listening to somebody shoot each other and listen to somebody teach each other because there's plenty of music out there that can teach you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me myself to see the movement of hip hop, within the culture of Wu Sabat. You know what I'm saying? The people that the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, has reached, in the hip hop industry, as well as just the whole music industry altogether, you know, to see the benefit of how he has or hip hop was used to actually, fish and bring these people in. You know, I remember the master teacher many years ago. He spoke against hip hop, and he had like artists like Dougie Fresh and a few other artists in some of his literature. And years later, when Wu Tang hit and all of that, like throughout the years, we just couldn't get away from this hip hop. And I remember being on Tamaray where the master teacher actually said that when he remember saying that he spoke against hip hop, but he himself had to be proven that hip hop was a powerful thing and that, what I'm saying, we were actually, you know, housing warriors inside of, hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? And so Tamara, they had several hip hop artists on the land. You know what I mean? And it goes deeper than that. It's like, artists like yourself and Osei Moore and myself. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole list of all the artists I can just name that have taken the responsibility, to represent ourselves from a responsible perspective. And so I think that with all the work and the hard work and the dedication that we've, put into it, I think it's disgraceful to actually just say throw it away. You know what I mean? Because we've never gotten the support that we should be getting. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
if we get that level of support that people are giving, uh, you know, other artists that are actually out there in the world that are participating and being part of the problem, we're giving them that support. But if we got that level of support and we're artists that represent part of the solution, can you imagine? Can you really imagine how the effect that we could be having on the world?
Yeah.
So me myself, I always look at being asked, what am I actually doing? How am I affecting, people, what I'm saying, with the music that I create or make. And for me, I don't go nowhere without saying free Dr. York. That's my message. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like that, I'm all about the master teacher's freedom. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I care more about that than I do, doctrines. You know what I'm saying? I care more about that. You know what I mean? And that's me. And so, regardless to what anybody says, that's what's in me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's what burns, and that's the fire that's in me. You know what I'm saying? And so um, the master teacher himself could not stop me from being, a musical voice for him. You know what I'm saying? He
Yep.
himself could not stop me from doing that. And so I say that to ask you this, because I've seen your work and I've seen you, you have several records out on behalf of the master teacher. You know, you do have a whole album out, right? That you did on
With the Freedom Fighter.
the Freedom Fighter.
Yep, in
So what
2016.
2016? I was going to ask you what year was that?
Mhm.
2016.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's for people who may not know about this album. Is this album still available?
Yeah. So it's available on AfricanManborn.com, and you can get it. Um, and it's pretty much dedicated. So the album was actually supposed to be a me and you album, actually. Uh,
Ah,
but you was
yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
you was dealing with some things medically,
Right,
and I did the album, and then at that time you was managing me.
right.
So you asked me if I when can I have the album out. Now I just released um, volume. I've just released the MC3,
Yeah,
the Black Light, months prior, but because of the Z Fest, we needed something, and then I actually performed the single Freedom Fighter. You know what
right.
I'm saying? The beats on there were a combination of Genghis, um, a producer named Chronic Tone, uh, you Intellect, and somebody else. So somebody, but you did most of the tracks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and it was because it was supposed to be a combination, but because I took it upon myself to like let's finish this album.
yeah.
And it was for the cause. It was for a dope cause of just getting something for the master teacher. Uh,
Right.
that album is so relevant because it talked about the situation not just with the master teacher, but it talked about the situation with our brother Bambata. It talked about the situation
Mm,
with like how the case and the song "Learn the Case." You know what I'm saying? Which is the song that you featured on. You know what I mean? And
right.
it talked about and me. I always tell people this in the first song on the album is called "I'm Not Afraid." So I want people to know I'm not afraid, and the
Right,
reason why I'm gonna put out what I feel. If I wanted to do a whole album on 47, I will do it. I just don't feel like doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not
right.
necessary. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about Free and Doc than talk about 47. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's right.
Um, I'd rather talk about healing our communities instead of now, mind you, I'm a mix of both. I'm cut from a street cloth. You know what I'm saying? Which means I do music with the punch in you in the face mentality. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here to heal as well. But if you talk crazy, I'm gonna talk crazy back. That's where I come from. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It's that street in me, but at the same time, I'm humble enough to be like, yo, all right, let me talk about the black woman's excellence. Let me talk about our culture. Let me talk about how we the children are. You know what I'm saying? Let me talk anything that comes to my mind, right? Which is why it was really important and it's based on just that question, and I'm gonna combine Osa's question with it, where you was talking about writer's block, right? And I go back to my mother. Whatever energy or ancestor, and I think it was my brother that told me to keep going. I think I had a dream where my brother told me to do this music because he literally said in the dream, "This other music sucks." You know what I'm saying? Oh boy, he said it in the dream, and I'm sitting there like, "Yo, why are you talking like that?" Because my brother don't talk like that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
My brother's very soft spoken. He don't talk like that. But this dude was talking like me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
yeah,
saying like, "Yo," and I'm looking at him like, "Yo, why are you talking?" And he's like, "Yo, this music sucks. F this." Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then he just walks
yeah.
away in the light and shit. Then I'm saying like, I woke up and I'm like, "Yo, this dude don't talk like you know what I'm saying?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
But it was something that was going on with me connecting back to him, or he was trying to reach me. And then when my mother passed, I still continued to do certain things, but then there were certain things my mother said to me in dreams too to move forward. She was literally telling me, and she still tells me this to move forward. Just
right.
recently, I had a dream with her where she said, "You need to get your shit together." You know what I'm saying.
Mm,
Now, mind you, moms always say that. My mother always told me that as a kid, and
right,
she's telling me to get your shit. So now it's like, okay, means you need to capitalize off this and bring those with you that you can. You need to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing it the right way. I know I'm doing it the right way because everybody's looking at me like, yo, you're doing it the right way. Now, it's not to toot my own horn. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm at a
Right.
point now. I don't care who likes my shit. I put it out. If you like it, you know what I'm saying? Cool. If you don't, cool. Because A and B gonna
Right.
still drop about 5 or 6 more albums a year. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
my job is to inspire. You know what I'm saying? Even MCs. I inspire MCs to come out of retirement. Yo, you need to rap, man. You got bars. Go ahead and get on the mic, man. You don't want to rap, get on the mic, man.
Well, I definitely want to put it out there, man. You had mentioned, us working on that project together, and I
Mm-hmm.
fell short because of my health, man. But I'm back, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, part
You know what I'm
two,
saying?
part two. We got part two. Freedom Fighter two. We got part two.
Yo,
Yeah.
let's do it, man. You know what I'm saying?
So the
You
Freedom
know,
Fighter, but that pretty much to get back to that Freedom Fighter,
yeah,
that album was very important because in 2016, that's when the BAM situation happened,
yeah,
and I was pissed off with the BAM situation.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And people called me all types of names because I was defending BAM. I don't care.
Right,
You can call me whatever you want. I was
right.
like, the fact that y'all don't research, you know what I'm saying? The fact that y'all don't pay attention to how they did this to every black, you know, icon. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? They,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That shows me that you're not paying attention. So I'm not going to be upset if you calling me a name that doesn't fit me because you don't research. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And then I stood on it and I did the song "These Agents," right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was proof in the song from a skit that I used that showed the actual person that helped set the man up.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
people come at me knowing that I have receipts, or they don't know I have receipts, but I have receipts. You know what I mean? Anytime I speak, I have receipts. So when it came to Doc's case, I studied that case since 2003 because I kind of came in around 2003. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know who Malachi was until I read his books, and then like um, the album needed to happen. It
Right.
just needed to happen because he is such an important voice for not just like Nuwapians, for all black folks that have an ear to listen. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that album, yeah, you can get it right on AfricanManBorn.com. I have it right in chronological order. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see it. You'll see Malachi's face and you'll see my face, letting you know that I stand with my master teacher. You know what I'm saying? And each album, I do at least one or two songs dedicated to him anyway. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so that's, get that. It's important to get it. You know what I'm saying? Listen to it if you're hip hop. If you want to get rid of hip hop, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
those who want to do that. But I don't advise you to do that if you love hip hop and you want to hear uh, the actual facts in the form. Listen to that album. You know what I mean? If you
Mhm.
get nothing else, get that album. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What I did want to ask you, Osa, in regards to A and B, because you've performed with him as well.
Mhm.
You've performed with Dro. You performed with, African Man Born. Um, what is it like to actually, you know, um, perform with Dr. A and B? You know what I'm saying? What is it like?
Um,
Can you say you've seen his growth?
I've definitely seen growth. I seen most of his growth, especially like when it comes to him working on his projects,
Right.
especially dealing with filming and dealing with editing. Like he's definitely grown there. As far as performing with him, see, I have both as an artist and as somebody who has filmed him. And I'll tell you, filming African Man Born is no easy feat because he moves around the stage.
Right.
um, and it's just interesting because people will, even if they like pretend like they're not paying attention, they're definitely paying attention to him because it's hard
Yeah.
not to pay attention to him.
Yeah.
He's coming out there, he sounds just like he sounds on his record. He goes
Right.
on stage again. Same thing where I said about Joe, where his mic is on. You're hearing him rap, you're hearing the breath that he takes, you hear him engaging with the audience, and it's not like whether I'm looking at him through the camera or whether I'm watching him on stage. It's like you're just seeing a force out here, and it's always like, why is nobody like booking him for other shows? So this one, I probably out of all the other independent artists, I probably get the most frustrated with him as far as people not booking him,
Right.
because I feel like you can't have 10 artists saying the same thing, right?
Mm.
You all hear money, you hear drugs, you hear sex, you hear hoes and what all this other stuff. And it's like, so it's good to have people who can come in and be just as engaging with a different content.
Right.
And like I still don't understand that. So that's always been my frustration with not just him but other artists that are like him,
Yeah.
where we're just not seeing the representation. But I do like I definitely say if you're out there in internet land watching this, that an African Man Born show is definitely worth watching. And also you
Yeah.
can see that he posts everywhere. Like you have no excuse not to know his music. It's
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's one of the things too I was going to touch on. You know, I asked, where can your music be found? Everywhere.
It is.
You
It's
know what
everywhere.
I'm saying? On all major platforms. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna ask, man. Where can anybody find, your material, man? Where can you be heard?
You can find my music everywhere, right? So, and I say that because
Word.
I am taking my music off of the streaming platforms.
Hmm.
But you can
Okay.
still find my music everywhere because all you got to do is Google African Man Born Productions or Google African Man Born. And what the internet's going to tell you is going to say African Man Born Productions, and then it's going to be my website. And then it clicks you right there. It'll be the top thing. And it'll bring you to my YouTube, which is Dr. A&B TV channel. It will take you to my Instagram, African underscore man underscore born. It'll take you to my TikTok, which TikTok is actually a big platform for music right now, especially if you are marketing and using promotions properly.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of attraction through TikTok, which I'm saying that because the purpose of hip hop right now is at 4,000 streams on there, and I
Hmm.
just put it on there. I did that video 3 weeks ago, I think. I think it's like 3 weeks ago. Um, it's doing a lot, and I don't do things for like industry, but I do it to get to the message out. The message needs to get out. And if 4,000 people are clicking on it, that's dope. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The Set the Record Straight song, that's doing 17,000 on TikTok. So,
Hmm.
so you can go on these places and see it, comment, share it, like it, or whatever. You know what I mean? What else? Facebook, obviously. I do the most music. I put most of my music on Facebook. I do my podcast on Facebook, and I talk the most crap on Facebook. Um, I talk a lot of crap. So for people that don't like what I say, just don't go on my page. Sometimes I'm just, it is what it is. It's my way of release.
Right.
And I talk a lot of shit. That's what it is. All
It's
right.
your own therapy. You
And
got
can
your
I put
own
an
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah.
interjection in? Can I please put an interjection? Y'all, I know sometimes he gets up there and talks about women and fighting and arguing. He's not talking about me. We didn't have a
Yeah.
fight.
No,
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
no. I'm talking about y'all. Don't we look
Oh
at
my
some of y'all
goodness.
like lame?
I,
And
I was like, yo, they must think that I'm terrible to
And
him for stuff
to
that he
be
says. No.
to be fair for those who don't know, African Man Born, A and B, is the husband of Osa A. Moore. So, I don't think we even mentioned that in his podcast. So, just to clear it up. So when you hear, Osa say it's not her that A and B is talking about fighting and all that on Facebook, you know what I mean?
no, we good.
She's saying that because that's her husband, you know what I mean? And they good.
We
Just just
good.
just just to let y'all know, you know what I'm
This
saying?
y'all being nosy, and then what happens is when y'all become nosy, I start saying certain things. It's
And
open, you
that's
know.
how it go on Facebook, man. You know what I'm saying? You could post anything and they gonna think it's about you
Oh yeah.
personally, you know what I mean?
So
So
I'll say this much, like, because I know we got time limit. I'm one person that will go on a white supremacist's page and troll them. So just think about that when it comes to my stuff. You know what I
He
mean?
has done that.
I've been blocked by white supremacists all on Facebook. I can't go on that one white supremacist page because I've purposely trolled them. Um, and that's just me entertaining myself. But in all seriousness, right, with the foolishness, right, I I'm an authentic person. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this hip hop music is mirrors who I am and the culture I live it, but I also live all components of my culture, which is why you'll see me with this Kobe Bryant memorabilia jersey, but then you'll see the African bees that I made with the cultural hat that I made, with the hat that with my logo on it. It's all me. It's all us. It's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Never neglect any part of yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like who you are is who you are. Like my mother was a big part. You can tell because after she passed, all this music came. You know what I'm saying? It was and that right there, for me, um, I'm taking it to another level with myself, and I'm taking it to another level for others.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just like we was talking about how we get other artists, that's always been my passion was to get other artists on the same boat. Let's ride the same menjet to that goal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I want people to be great, just like I said in Greatness Over Dominance. Everyone can be this great. At the end of the second verse, if you listen to Greatness Over Dominance, I say everyone can be this great.
Mm.
I'm not talking about just myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everyone can be this great. It's in you, but you have to look. It's within yourself, and it takes artists like me, Osa, Intellect, Joel Casso, Toussaint the Liberator, Genius. You know what I'm saying? All of these people to do that for you, or if it takes a football player in the NFL to do that for you, utilize what you learn from them and look within yourself and be as great as you're supposed to be because you are supposed to be that. That's not something that it's they. Everybody wants to make you feel like you can't do what you do. No, you
Mhm.
can, but you have to figure it out for you on a level, and then connect with those that will help you get there, and you help them. You know?
Right. Now, before we get out of here, man, we always ask, we posed the question. I don't know if you remember from the very first podcast we did, the interview. We always ask, people for last words of inspiration, etc. But for those who are Sabian, those who are, master students of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, we always ask, um, you know, speaking to him, if he was to hear this, if he was to see this, what words would you have for the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York?
You was always innocent. You were still innocent, and everything that I do and didn't do, right? And what that means is, if I didn't know how to help with your freedom, I would apologize for not knowing certain things that I could have did,
Mm,
right? And for what my part in doing for your freedom, I do my best, which is hip hop. I use hip hop for your freedom. You know what I mean? And I stand by your freedom, no matter what people say. And I'm gonna continue to fight for your freedom and the clearing of your name. You know
right,
what I mean? Not just through the music, but through everything that I do when it comes to my head. Free Dr. York. So
no doubt,
yeah.
no doubt. That was very powerful. I'm not even gonna, go deeper into that because then we'll be another half hour. But that was very powerful what you said. Especially apologizing for things that you may not know. You may not know how to do certain things. Many of us, including myself, we didn't go to the classes to be freedom fighters or, to be, standing in the middle of the battlefield, not just fighting in an opposer, but also fighting people who are behind us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That are supposed to be with us. So it's really an area that definitely. I'm glad you said that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that we will revisit this part. That that statement. We will definitely revisit that and have a whole segment on that because that's there's a lot of people who always ask, what could they do? you know. And a lot of times there's no answer. It's just like, well, get deeper into the doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Um, we should be doing that personally anyway. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's not even part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? Like we should be doing that no matter what. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? That's who we are. We're Sabians. We're going to be Sabian. You know what I'm saying? So that's not even part of the freedom fight. You know what I'm saying? And when we start seeing things like that, that means that, we don't have proper guidance. You know what I'm saying? So, let's stop shunning people and let's start allowing people to tap into who they are, and so they can, bring to the table what they're actually supposed to bring to the table instead of, becoming abductees to our personal agendas and, not allowing people to, fit into their own skin. Let's get back to, when we was, tableaking back in the day and being in the streets, we would try to help people tap into their potential. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so that's really what it was all about, and bringing people back to what we called home so we could live for and by each other, you know. Um, Thank you again, brother. It's always real. You know what I'm saying? African Man Born is here with us. You know what I'm saying? Osa A. Moore is here with us. And Brother Intellect 9, I'm here with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's always real. Do not go anywhere, brother. I just want to chop it up with you right quick. Until next time, we out of here, man. Fact Power FM. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Fact Power FM, a podcast that is in full support of the freedom of Dr. Malachi Z. York. We'd like to hear from you, so please comment, like, and share. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Fact Power FM. Until next time, peace.